For now, all you need to know is me and my boy Nick are going to train arms, so biceps and triceps. General structure for the session today, we're going to go bicep exercise, tricep exercise, bicep exercise, tricep exercise, and we're going to work from the shortened position for both to the lengthened position. So I'm going to start with the preacher curl, so that's short obviously for the bicep, and then go to a step forward cable curl, lengthened position. For triceps, we're going to start with a cable extension, cross cable extension, so working from the shortened position again, and then finishing up with something overhead in the lengthened position. So muscle's strongest when it's longest, so we work from the disadvantageous position first, and then go to where it's mechanically easier. So that's the thought process behind the session. Show you what it actually looks like.
All day. Get it. What's up, man? Want to say hello before you get busy?
It's arms. We're never busy on arm day.
Right? I hardly ever do them. Well, I like to do them more, but
yeah.
Man, screw you. I love cleaning arms.
I've grown to love it.
I like the
I've grown
it's
to
kind of boring.
if you got good arms,
boring.
I say the same thing about it to everyone.
Like,
it beats an off day.
Yeah, it beats an off day.
We've trained in adjacent with each other multiple times, but we haven't gotten a session in together yet. So should be fun. Worked out.
So we're like multiple, not generations. What do you call it? I don't know. Multiple layers teammates. Yeah, both with Gasp, Better Bodies, and with Labrada. So he's a Pro Series athlete as well. So looking forward to this. I'll brag on him a little bit because he's too humble to do it. You know, the reason that he's with the company is because of his brain. You know, he really knows what he's doing, and he always continuously pursues, you know, furthering his education. So, you know, not only do I get a gym buddy today, but you'll see when we train, you know, he'll be cueing me through all the exercises, which, you know, no matter how good you are, in the midst of, you know, full set and top sets, it helps to have someone sitting there watching, you know, cueing the little things. It makes a difference, especially at this level. So stoked to have him here with me today.
I appreciate that, dude. That means a shitload. Like, that's the kind of stuff that means more to me than anything. It's like the people I've looked up to forever telling me that, like, I'm moving in the right direction at least. There's still a lot to learn. I'm nowhere near his level. There's a lot of coaches above me who are better than me, but I'm doing my best to be the best I can, and that's all we can do. That's what this gym game is being the best we can do.
I get asked a lot about the body armors. I have no affiliation with body armor. I drink them because I like how they taste, and more importantly, they are sweetened with actual cane sugar, not high fructose corn syrup. So good, fast, intra carb. Something that I get a lot of questions about is how do I train my arms? And the answer to that question is like every other muscle in my damn body. It drives me insane that people think you need to train muscles dramatically different. The only thing I might say is at a slightly higher rep range, and when I say slightly, I mean like 12 to 15 instead of 8 to 12 might be beneficial, but you know, like working both rep ranges, hit an 8 to 12 for a top set and then a 12 to 15 for a back off. That's what I like to do. So just like every other muscle group that I train, everything until I get to that top working set, which today is a 55-pound dumbbell, is minimum effective dose. I want to expend as little energy as possible to get blood flow to the muscle and build the connection that I want to have with it. So that's the thought process behind everything that I train, arms included.
Yeah, I mean, 8 to 12, 12 to 15 is typically where I work. For me, arms respond a lot to volume. We use them all day. They're always doing something, so they're used to moving around. It's kind of like your legs and calves. You need weight and you need reps. So I like volume. Typically I'll stay in I like 12 to 15, 8 to 12 sometimes, kind of piss my arm off. So if you watch him while he's lifting, you'll see he's kind of rotated out at the torso here. Instead of being square onto the pad or like completely out like this. You'll see some people set up where they're like sideways and curling this way. It's pretty terrible on the, not terrible on the shoulder, but your stability at the shoulder is gonna be a lot worse. So by kind of having just that slight cock there, you're not straight onto it where you can kind of like get a lot of pinching up in the, like right here where everything comes together. Kind of lean into it, you can get good stretch at the bottom, and there's no more like shoulder compacting there. So,
and you'll also see that slight angle that we both take. It really affords you a lot of alignment. Your shoulder, elbow, and wrist will all be really nice and aligned the whole range of motion.
As he's starting to get towards the end, like most people want to dig their elbow in real hard to the pad, he's putting his tricep into it. So he actually gave, I'd heard him say that in a video a long time ago, and it changed this shit a lot for me because I had to stop doing creature curls. It's just killing me. So instead, like put that tricep meat into there and let that come off, because it's not about keeping your elbow on the pad. The idea is we're not cheating with the pad, right? So put that tricep in there, lock that shoulder down with the lat, and don't let this happen. You're creating a compensation to throw that weight up, right? So there's no need for us to go all the way here and stretch out all the way. Both of us are stopping about here. We're not trying to get that fully stretched position here. That's not where we're gonna get that. This is about output.
There's also a big difference between active range of motion and passive range of motion.
Yep.
Yes, my arm can go like that, but my bicep is not engaged. I have to be up there for my bicep to be engaged. Dead, still engaged. So you'll see that's where we're stopping. We're not. So it's an active range of motion. Yes, you can technically go farther with the joint, but it's a passive range of motion at that point.
A lot of people will just let a weight pull them into something versus controlling it and then pulling it back. They'll just let a hack squat or a pendulum bury them into the hole and they have no control over that range, right? So that's how we get injuries. Stay locked in, make that muscle work.
Come on, man. Come on, you got another one. You got two. You got two. Go. Come on. Let's go. Up. Easy money. You got another.
Oh, another match.
Let's go. Get there. Get there. Get there. Get there. Yes, sir.
No.
Woo. Fuck yeah. First tricep exercise is honestly what probably has constituted like 80% of my tricep work in the last 2 years. Because my shoulder is not the most elite in the world. There's a lot of like exercises that really kind of hurt it, but this exercise, you know, in terms of working in the shortened position, everything's perfect in my opinion. You know, the profile, the resistance drops off towards the end. You're able to brace really well. It aligns well with the joints. So this is my favorite tricep exercise. I don't speak in absolutes a lot of the time, but I do believe this is the best tricep exercise you can do.
So you'll see, I'm not sure if you can see it from the angle here, but the cable and his arm are in the same path, or as close as we can get it, right? Because that's gonna align with the fibers. If I'm going this way and the cable's pulling me that way, I'm gonna get a lot of pressure on my elbows. So here, he's trying to extend at the same angle that that bad boy's set at. So you gotta kind of play around with it to find what works best for you. He's got his shoulders compacted down and not letting them hike up at the top. And then it's just a simple like kickback from there. You're just extending at the elbow, flexing all the way. His elbow's slightly behind his torso because he's talking about that fully shortened range of the tricep, right? So here, right? It's kind of behind our body slightly.
And this does not move the whole time. This doesn't come forward as you go to the top. That elbow's pinned right there.
Right.
And at the end of the day, you know, train your body from an anatomical standpoint. Your triceps and an elbow flexor. So put as much flexion in it as possible, keeping that elbow where it's supposed to be, and then flex it for all it's worth. That's the job of the tricep. Drive. Drive.
That lockout gets fucking hard.
How do you know when you're done?
When it's done. I started to get to the point where like full extension felt like here, and we want to try to get it fully locked out. So once there's no more go, it's done. Getting to those end ranges, lengthened or shortened, you're gonna be weaker. You're always stronger in the mid-range. Not always, but there's some variation there.
You know, I guess I'll talk about this and like clarify it. So all this talk about lengthening and shortening, all that we're getting at is the physiological fact that your muscle is strongest when it's longest. So on any isolation exercise, if you start talking about compound exercises, there are some where the mechanical advantages will allow you to be stronger when the muscle's, you know, shortest, like squats, like quarter squats and shit. But anyways, isolation exercises, strictly speaking, one muscle, it's gonna be strongest when it's longest. So we want to work from the mechanically disadvantaged position first. We don't want to tire it out in the lengthened position where it's strongest and then go try and work shortened. So that's the concept behind starting preacher curl and then going to the exercise we're about to do, which is a step forward cable curl. And the whole purpose of these is to get the bicep in full extension and to keep it there. So we'll step forward enough to where even at the very bottom there's tension because it's pulling back. Keep that elbow frozen, and we're coming up here. We're not going like that to complete the rep. The elbow's staying frozen, and we're right here. The reason I like these a lot is A, you know, we're working from that lengthened position. B, because it's on a cable, it's got that nice mechanical drop off at the top. The resistance profile is really awesome for your bicep. And lastly, just like every other exercise we've done today, it aligns really well. You'll see it from the dead on straight view. As we curl, that cable is going to be running right down our forearm and through our elbow. Everything's really aligned for this, so it's one of my favorites. Come right here, Nick. Come like down this way. You'll see wrist, elbow, shoulder, cable are all on the same plane. Proper alignment.
You hear so many people talk about when they do skull crushers that their elbows hurt, right? Because you think I'm doing a skull crusher, my elbows are out here. The force is being applied straight down, not at that angle. So now that I'm getting force pushing me this way, and it starts to piss that elbow off. So that his elbow and that cable match what his overhead range of motion is capable of. So Hunter, being as big as he is, he's got a lot of shit in the way to get himself overhead, right? So what he can do is play around with this cable. If he wasn't able to get overhead at all, we could go straight out to the side and still hit something pretty similar, right? Let's go. A lot left. Come on. Go. Another one.
It's not a a long or a short for bicep or tricep. It's touching on our brachioradialis by doing hammer curls. Application for bodybuilding is that your brachialis runs underneath your bicep. You have a bigger brachialis, you'll have a peak of your bicep because it pushes it up. And then you can never have too freaky and big forearms, right? So the exercise we're doing for this is one that I actually picked up from John Meadows. It's basically like a preacher curl, but for a hammer variation, and then you just do it off of a lat pull down with the leg support set at a height to where it's hitting right above your elbow, so the back of your arm, exactly where we're trying to brace and drive in when we do a normal preacher curl. And then The cool thing with this is, you know, dumbbells, because of gravity at the bottom of a rep, typically there's zero tension in the bicep. But since we're here, we're able to rotate the body around this point of pivot. And when you do that, even at the bottom, there's going to be tension. So that's why this is cool to me. Everything we got left. Last set of the day. There we go. Come on. Not hard, it just hurts. Let's do it. Oh, one more. Get there. One of these arm days, and like you go to wash your hair and you're doing it and your arms cramp, and I go, bruh, you gotta be able to get your hands to your head first.